here, and this guy right here is a good friend of the Fanboys Unleashed podcast, Zombie Greg.
Hey, how's it going?
If you haven't seen him, this is your first look at him. So the Lazarus Effect stars Olivia Wilde, Childish Gambino, Quicksilver, and some other people. And the premise of the film is, it's a group of scientists who get their project shut down. They try to get one last stab at the project, and something goes wrong. Olivia Wilde is electrocuted and she dies. So they end up injecting her with this serum that they've been working on, which is supposed to bring people back from the dead temporarily. But then weird things begin to happen when this occurs, and a horror film of such ensues. So, what'd you think of the film?
You know, honestly, I thought it was going to be better than it was. I thought it had a good kind of overall plot. I felt like it was kind of, when I first heard about the story, I thought it was kind of going to be kind of a mixture of like some old school horror films like The Flatliners or Reanimator or something like that, mixed with kind of a possession film. So I was like, it's kind of an interesting take on a possession film. After seeing the film, I just feel like it kind of was a mess. I feel like it was kind of all over the place. It didn't really introduce anything new that would, there were some cool contact lenses in the movie, and other than that, I mean, it didn't really offer anything. I thought the story was okay. I just thought it was an overall fair at best movie. There was some jump scares in the beginning of the movie. But honestly, when I watch horror movies nowadays, I really look for originality and something that, if not originality, at least deliver with, what people are expecting. And I feel like this one kind of missed the mark on it.
Yeah, if you don't know Zombie Greg, he's always been the guy that's come on and reviewed horror films with us. That's why I brought him on for this. And as far as I'm concerned, my major problem with horror films usually is, for one, abysmal acting. And I can say from this film, you didn't really get that. It was pretty decent acting for the most part. But it seems like it doesn't know where it wants to go, because the first half of the film, it seemed like it was trying to go for like a scientific feel.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it tries to become a horror movie. And instead of coming up with anything creative or original, they rely on the same tired things that you see in every horror movie throughout history. And it just doesn't work. I mean, when you don't see something, original or groundbreaking in a film, I mean, you're sticking strictly to that formula. It doesn't resonate with audiences, and especially hardcore horror fans like yourself.
Yeah, and I agree. When the whole first part of the film, the whole first act, maybe even part of the second act, they kind of develop into, like you said, like a science film. Mm-hmm. But then they kind of drift off, and you're starting to now go into different dreams and things like that. And you're like, is she possessed? Is she not possessed? It was confusing to kind of understand what was happening. They never really specify it. And I do agree that the acting wasn't bad. I thought the acting was pretty good for a horror movie, but it just was confusing to me. It just didn't deliver, and I literally, this was my face the entire movie. There was nothing really going on that like really made me jump out of my seat.
The third act, I thought, had a couple of parts that were creepy, mm-hmm. but I wouldn't say they were terrifying, No,
not at all.
Another part about this film is it seems to borrow a lot of the plot line from the film Lucy. I don't see how that can translate into a horror film. A lot of it felt like that, and a lot of it felt like they were kind of borrowing some pieces from the video game Fear. Mm-hmm. I felt like I was playing that game at certain points in this.
Yeah, no, and that's where I said, a lot of the... When you watch a possession style film, if that's what this is...
Well, we still don't know.
We really don't know, because there's certain things that you're like, okay, this is, key category things that fall in a possession film, where she starts doing, moving things with her mind and things like that, where you're like, does she come back with powers, or is she possessed? And it's kind of confusing, and they don't really clarify what that is. And then, just to bring up another point that me and them were talking about missing the mark here. Mm-hmm. I can't stand when people do things in horror movies that it's just stupid things to do, like putting your face right into a dog's face.
Oh, they're just setting up for the jump scare. That's all it is.
Yeah, and you just literally go, okay, the dog's gonna wake up and it's gonna bark and you're gonna jump. This is exactly what's gonna happen.
When-
3, 2, 1.
When you're sitting there waiting for the jump scares to happen, that's when you know it's not sinking you in. It's not doing what it's supposed to do
Right.
because you're sitting there waiting for this shit to happen, and that's what I felt it did. I felt like it just kind of threw some shit in there at the end to remind everybody, hey, this actually is a horror film. You know?
Yeah.
So, guess first. So, what are you scoring this thing?
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give this one a 5.5. I think it was mediocre.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and push that 5.5. I also am giving that.
Yeah.
I just can't get it to a 6. If you need to see this, I would wait for Redbox. I definitely wouldn't go pay $12 to see it. And as a side note, to the people that were in the back of us talking, running their fucking mouth the whole time, with their kids on a school night at 10 o'clock at night, fuck you.
Right here, you fucking assholes. Don't ever do that shit again.
Yeah, you're ruining the film for everybody else. You know, if you're going to take your kids to something, take them in the fucking morning. Don't bring them to this shit. Or if they can't shut their fucking mouth and show some goddamn manners, next time I'm going to get out of my seat and slap the shit out of all of you. So,
yes.
Anyhow,
I blame the parents.
Thanks again, Zombie Greg, for stepping on. You can catch him on Instagram, Facebook, and I'll post that in the description box on the bottom. Please like the video. Click on the subscribe button at the end of the video. And as always, thanks for watching.